Some major NFL news happened yesterday that makes me wonder, could the Raiders receive some trade calls from one team? Before we break all that down today, my guy Jeremy Jugs, I got him sick yesterday. If you could, please wish him better, because here's the one thing that I respect about Jugs. He couldn't make it into the office today, but he built this entire show from home. That is the definition of a real one, and he was really beating himself up today that he couldn't join our Dante Thornton Jr. interview, which, reminder, is going to begin in just a few hours. So coming up here on today's show, here on the Raiders Report, I got some NFL news that could impact the Las Vegas Raiders. We're also going to talk about Tristan Wirfs because he's down for the count, at least for the first few weeks, and I do wonder if there's players on this Las Vegas Raiders team that Tampa Bay could potentially pick up the phone, give them a call, and say, hey, we're looking for an offensive tackle. And then at the very end of today's show, I'll go through and I'll give you 3 trade ideas. A mild, a hot, and a spicy. So if you didn't see what the news was, Adam Schefter yesterday broke this down, that Buccaneers All-Pro left tackle Tristan Wirfs recently underwent arthroscopic surgery on his right knee. Long story short, he's not going to be able to play for the first 4 weeks of this season. I believe they put him on that short-term IR. So the first thing when I saw this injury go down, anytime something happens around a Tampa Bay Buccaneers player, I think of John Spytek and I think of that relationship that he has with that team. But as it stands right now, according to people that follow the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their replacement for Wirfs is going to be Charlie Heck. And I don't know if you know too much about Charlie Heck, but his play, maybe they want to call him Charlie Hell. And this picture kind of makes me think exactly my exact face that I gave when I heard that he's going to be taking over for Tristan Wirfs. And I mean, the PFF numbers show that. A 41.2 overall grade, snaps of 117. I know there's a little bit of a limited sample size there, and he was brought in this offseason to be that backup for Wirfs. But the reason why I wanted to be able to make today's show is because if I was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and I was concerned about who the hell is going to be protecting the blind side of Baker Mayfield, because Tampa Bay finally found a quarterback, and Baker has proven that he's that team's guy. You're going to let Charlie Heck protect Baker Mayfield's blind side for at least 4 weeks? I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't do that, and I think that Tampa Bay is a smart organization, and if I was the Bucs, I would pick up the phone and I would give my old buddy John Spytek a call. Hell, I'd even pick up the phone and give my buddy Tom Brady a call. So if you don't already know this, if you subscribe to the Raiders Report, I promise you this, you will become a smarter Raiders fan. We do break down news. We break down rumors. We give analysis. We go live. And if you don't know, we're going to be live here in a little bit, breaking it all down with Dante Thornton Jr. So here is why I believe that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could give the Las Vegas Raiders a phone call. The first reason is John Spytek. Spytek was a part of that organization from 2016 to 2024. He was a big reason probably why, Tampa Bay went out and even drafted Tristan Wirfs. He's somebody that always values the trenches. And I think in the NFL, in the middle of July, if you are looking for a potential trade partner, because you're just looking for insurance for the first 4 weeks, 5 weeks, maybe the Wirfs injury turns out to be something a little bit more. But if you want to do a trade like this, it's got to be with somebody that you trust. And John Spytek, I think, is the number one guy Jason Licht would trust. Licht is the GM for Tampa Bay, and I think Spytek would be a guy to trust. Another guy that they would trust is Tom Brady, somebody that came down to Tampa Bay from New England and won that organization a Super Bowl. I know he's a minority owner, and I don't want to make this sound like Tom Brady has a lot of say in the day-to-day, the trades that the Raiders do, but my biggest point in how I know the NFL works and how the Raiders work and how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization works, it comes down to relationships. And John Spytek and Tom Brady both have a phenomenal relationship with that Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization. Let's go to the next reason why Tampa Bay could call the silver and black. The Raiders do have a deep offensive line, and I'm not sitting up here saying that we have a top 15 starting offensive caliber offensive line, but I do think that we have one of the more deeper units in the National Football League. Charles Grant, third rounder. Caleb Rogers, third rounder. Thayer Munford provides a little bit of depth. Jordan Meredith provides a little bit of depth. I would be challenged to find a team that's got 9 players on their offensive line that, if need be, you put them in a situation, they could go out there and get the job done. Because I'll tell you this, Thayer Munford, better than Charlie Heck. Jordan Meredith, better than Charlie Heck. Heck, there's a lot of guys on that Raiders offensive line better than Charlie Heck. So here's going to be the pinned comment on today's show. If you could trade one offensive lineman of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who would it be and why would you end up doing it? I want to know what y'all have to say, and I can't wait to see the answers. My answer is going to be coming up here after this YouTube ad break. It's going to be Thayer Munford, and the reason why I'm going to talk about Munford is because he's in that final year of his deal. There's been some reports if he could potentially be that odd man out, and when you consider what Munford brings to the table, he's been working at left guard, and I know that last season when he was put out there at left tackle, he did struggle a little bit. When he was put at tackle, he did struggle, but I think that was more of a health thing. Thayer Munford is a better player than Charlie Heck, and if you care about Baker Mayfield's health, I think Tampa Bay should pick up the phone and at least see if the Raiders are willing to trade Thayer Munford. Let's go to the final reason here of why I think that Tampa Bay could call the Raiders. The Raiders right now are a team that values draft picks. They are planning for the long haul. Does this team want to win this season? Yes, of course they do. But I also know that this team believes in their ability to draft. And I know that this team believes that, yes, they want to win right now, but they are really trying to build for 2026, for 2027, and to make sure that they have a roster in order to do that. So I know for a fact that if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wanted to offer a draft pick for Thayer Munford just to help out this offensive line, the Las Vegas Raiders would be more than willing to go out and do that. I got some trade ideas coming up here in just a moment, but before I get into that, huge shout out to today's sponsor, Chubbies. I've been rocking Chubby shorts for years, and I hope that y'all do the exact same thing. Summertime is here, which means it's officially time to let the dogs out. And by dogs, we mean your legs. If your pups have been stuck in jeans or sweats for the last few months, set them free with the Line Swim collection from Chubbies. Whether you're poolside, lakeside, or oceanside, on that long-awaited vacation, these trunks are ready to travel. Life's too short for uncomfortable swim trunks, so these babies are set up for all-day comfort with a quick dry stretch fabric and a built-in liner that actually does its job. No more chafing, no more soggy butt, no more mesh disasters. And when the sun goes down or you're heading from beach to dinner, swap into a pair of Everywhere shorts. They fit right, feel right, and go with everything. And after wearing them once, you'll find yourself wondering why you even own other shorts, which I'll tell you this, I got a bunch of different Chubby stuff, and I'm going to be taking them to my honeymoon. If I trust Chubbies to take them to my honeymoon, I hope that you guys trust them as well. So whether you're suiting up for cannonballs, cookouts, or casual Fridays, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with our code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com. That's code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com. Support our show. Let them know that we sent you. Summer's here. Dress like it in Chubbies. And I'm somebody that likes simplicity, but I'm also somebody that I'm not afraid to admit it. Because you all only see the top half of what I do, I wear shorts to work literally every single day. Every single day, I'm rocking shorts. So when I tell you I wear Chubby stuff at least once a week, I do, because I walk to work. I don't get the uncomfortableness down below. They fit great, and as soon as I get done working, I like to go to the gym because I've been trying to get into shape for my wedding and for my honeymoon. I use Chubbies at least once a week, and I promise you, once you finally put your dogs in these shorts, they're not going to be barking anymore. Let's go up to hear some Raiders and Tampa Bay Buccaneers trade ideas, and the way that I wanted to do this was kind of just do it from a mild to a hot, and then we're going to give you a spicy trade because in the middle of July, there's not a lot going on. So you know what, man? I want to spice things up here a little bit. So my first trade idea here, if John Spytek gets on the phone with Tampa Bay and they're going, hey, man, I need some sort of a replacement. I don't believe in Charlie Heck. What's your mild trade that you can offer me just so I know that Baker Mayfield isn't going to die the first 4 weeks? Here's my first trade that I'm willing to offer you. If you're giving me a 7th-round pick for Thayer Munford, I'm going to take that trade. It's not that I don't believe in Munford, but at the end of the day, I don't know if he's going to be back next season. If the Raiders are confident in what they have on that offensive line. And when I say that, I think they're confident in Caleb Rogers. I think Caleb Rogers was drafted to kind of, take the place of Jordan Meredith, to take the place of somebody like a Thayer Munford. So if I think Munford's going to be on this team and he's even a roster bubble candidate, but somebody who's played left tackle, somebody who's been on that left side, somebody that was a first-round potential draft pick coming out of Ohio State before he got injured his final year, I'm going to offer them Thayer Munford for a 7th-round pick. But you know what? I know a lot of Raiders fans, and my wife Alex would probably make fun of me for this, but I like things mild. I used to think I could handle hot food until I started dating a Mexican woman. Now I hang out mild. Let's get a little bit hotter here in the month of July. I'm going to go with Dylan Parham, and the Raiders receive a 5th-round pick. The reason why Parham is going to be involved in this trade is because Dylan can play multiple positions. I'm not saying that Parham's going to play left tackle. That I actually don't think is a smart idea for Tampa Bay. But if the Bucs had other players on their offensive line that they might be able to move around a little bit better, Parham is an interesting chess piece that you can put him at left guard. You can put him at center if need be, right guard, right tackle. He has played all 4 of those positions in college and in the NFL. So for Dylan Parham, I would want a 5th-round pick at least in return for him. And again, you don't put him at left tackle, but when you have Parham on your offensive line, you can move a few other pieces around. Let's go to the spicy trade here. And this one's going to sting a little bit, and I only mean that from a fun and creative standpoint. Here's going to be my trade idea. The Las Vegas Raiders get Jamel Dean, who right now there's some reports around him as being a potential trade candidate for Tampa Bay due to his salary and due to his contract. He's also battled a few injuries, and if you're looking at the Raiders, we know that they've been interested in cornerbacks. They brought in Shaquille Griffin earlier this offseason on a visit, and I believe in Darian Porter. I believe in Eric Stokes, and I'm hoping Jacorian Bennett continues his progress from his second year. But the Raiders are a little bit thin in that secondary, and if Jamel Dean, somebody that was drafted by John Spytek, somebody that won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady, wants to come over here to the Las Vegas Raiders, well, how about this? We'll give you a 5th-round pick next year because the Raiders are going to get an additional 5th-round comp pick due to some of the stuff that happened in free agency this past year, and I'll give you Thayer Munford. So a 5th-round pick, Thayer Munford, and the Las Vegas Raiders get Jamel Dean. The only thing I would ask the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for is for you to take on a little bit more of that salary because I'm not interested in Jamel Dean on that full salary. If you're telling me I got to take Jamel Dean on that full salary, that pick that I was going to give you is going to turn into a 7th-round pick and Thayer Munford. If you're willing to eat a little bit of it, though, I'll give you a 5th in Munford instead.